This is going to be tricky, I can already feel it. Let's start here. Hey everyone, and welcome back on the channel. My name is Alex. Today is a different setup. We're in the dining room, living room. I needed something to display the shoes. Today's video of the Advent Calendar is about the best 5K, 10K racing shoes. We have the Vaporfly Next Percent. I took my V1, but V1 or V2, I think the numbers will be pretty similar. We have the Puma Deviate Elite, the very recently released Adidas Takumi Sen 8 and the Asics Metaspeed Sky. I think these are the main contenders. We could have had the Adios Pro 2, some shoes from Skechers that I don't necessarily have. But yeah, I think these are the main contenders, and without no further ado, let's look at some specs, some data. First of all, let's check the durometer scores. I know many of you are interested in that. So here we have the softest midsole is on the Deviate Elite, 22 on the durometer scale, ranging from 0 to 100 for those of you new on the channel, and welcome. And this is the compound here, on the Deviate Elite is nitrogen infused PBA. Then we have the Metaspeed Sky 28, regular PBA. Then we have the Vaporfly Next Percent at 32, regular PBA as well, PBAX even. And then we have the Takumi Sen 8 at 33.6 on the durometer scale. So technically the Takumi Sen 8 is the firmest of them. And I think it actually rides, it has the firmest rides. It's not a firm ride at all because these are all quite soft numbers on the durometer scale, but still quite interesting. Then let's look at the weight of these shoes. This is for my size US 11 EU45. We'll come back to the fit, but the lightest of them is the Deviate Elite, 205 grams, 7.2 ounces. Then we have the Takumi Sen 8, 208 grams, 7.3 ounces. Then we have the Metaspeed Sky, 213 grams, 7.5 ounces. And in the end, eventually we have the Nike Vaporfly, 219, 7.7 ounces. Let's look at the stack heights and drops. So the highest stack height of all of these shoes is on the Vaporfly Next Percent, 40 millimeters in the heel, 32 in the forefoot, 8 millimeters drop. Then comes the Metaspeed Sky, 39 in the heel, 34 in the forefoot, 5 millimeters drop. Then we have the Deviate Elite, 36 in the heel, 28 in the forefoot, 8 millimeters drop. Although someone recently measured this shoe, and you know who you are, they found 26 in the forefoot, 29 in the heel, 3 millimeters drop, which makes sense. We'll come back to that with the ride and the foot strike type on the Deviate Elite, but the official data is 36, 28, 8 millimeters drop. And last but not least, the lowest stack, although it's quite high, 33 in the heel, 27 in the forefoot, 6 millimeters drop on the Takumi Sen 8. Let's also check the width of the platforms, and in the forefoot the most narrow shoe is the Deviate Elite that has the most narrow forefoot width is the Deviate Elite. The widest forefoot width is on the Metaspeed Sky, and that's interesting. Heel, midfoot, the most narrow one is the Vaporfly, and then they're all pretty much in the same ballpark. And heel width, the most narrow shoe is the Takumi Sen 8, and the widest is the Deviate Elite. So that's for the heel. So the total of the width of the platform, the most narrow shoe is the Vaporfly, and the widest one is the Metaspeed Sky. Now let's look at some running metrics, and first of all, cadence. They're all pretty similar except the Takumi Sen 8, which has a lower cadence for me. So this is quite interesting. This is not the highest stack height, this is the lowest stack height, and yet it has the lowest cadence for me, which I think is quite interesting. Responsiveness, the most responsive shoe out of these is the Metaspeed Sky, lowest ground contact time for me, which is a proxy for responsiveness. And bounciness, the bounciest shoe out of these, quite similar metrics, Takumi Sen 8 and Vaporfly. We're looking at the duration between max pronation and toe off, which is a proxy for bounciness, and these two have quite high bounciness numbers. Then let's look at some motion metrics, and this is first of all the shock. So how much leg pounding do you have when running with all these shoes? And the highest value for leg pounding is shared between the Vaporfly and the Deviate Elite. They both have quite high leg pounding scores. For this one, I believe it comes down to the stack, which isn't that high, and even though you have very soft, midsole compound, the leg pounding, I believe, is higher, and that's also one of the reasons this shoe wouldn't compete in, let's say, the best half marathon shoes, at least for me. Vaporfly is a bit more surprising, but data is data, so there you have it. Pronation, again, I'm saying this time and time again, pronation is not a bad thing, it's just a protection mechanism developed by your body to help you, go through the impacts, go through the foot strikes, and sort of absorb a bit of the shock. So that's why pronation exists, and it's not a bad thing as such. Highest pronation value, Vaporfly, and then Takumi Sen 8. Lowest pronation value, Deviate Elite. 20 degrees of pronation here, which is the lowest, and here we have 32 degrees of pronation, and 31, I think, here on the Takumi Sen 8. Pronation velocity, which is another very interesting metric. It's pretty much similar, very high pronation velocity, so the speed at which you are pronating, at least I am pronating, because again, this is my data, and if you have a similar, gait cycle, similar biomechanics to mine, you can probably relate to those numbers. If not, this is just an indication of how these shoes may work for you. So very high pronation velocity on the Vaporfly and on the Takumi Sen, and quite low on these two shoes, the lowest being Deviate Elite. So this is for the metrics. Now let's jump to the section where I give one word about each shoe. Before that, if you're enjoying this video, if it's useful, don't hesitate and go click on that like button. It helps the video, it helps the channel quite a bit, and I appreciate if you do it. You can also subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber yet, and I would be very happy to welcome you here in the little community growing on the channel at a very fast pace. So one word about each shoe. This is going to be tricky, I can already feel it. Let's start here with the Metaspeed Sky. This is rigid. Takumi Sen 8 is, I'm gonna say nimble. I already said nimble against when I did the battle against the Adidas 6, but this is nimble. This is agile, I would say, and the Vaporfly is responsive. Now let's go through the points. So we'll go through all the different parts of the shoes and we'll give points to all of them. We have 4 contenders. So the first shoe will get 3 points, then 2 points for the second best shoe, 1 point for the third best shoe, and the fourth last shoe for each category will get 0 points. First upper, I'm gonna go with 3 points for the Vaporfly, 2 points for the Takumi Sen, and 1 point for the Deviate Elite. The upper on the Metaspeed, first of all, doesn't really run true to size. It's a bit short, and it's not the one on which I have the most comfort, so that's the reason why. Midsole, I'm gonna go with, I really like the midsole on the Deviate Elite, 3 points. 2 points for the Vaporfly, and I would give 1 point for the Takumi Sen. The Metaspeed is a great midsole, but it's really rigid because of the very stiff carbon plates, and that's the reason why it doesn't get any point here. Outsole and outsole durability, 3 points for the Deviate Elite, fantastic outsole. Then 2 points for the Vaporfly and 1 point for the Takumi Sen. The grip is okay on the Metaspeed, but nothing outstanding either, so that's the reason why. Ride of the shoes, 3 points for the Vaporfly, 2 points for the Deviate, and 1 point for the Takumi Sen. Stability, so this sort of echoes the pronation metrics that I shared. But let's think a bit outside of the box and how these shoes may be stable or not for more people. I think the Metaspeed deserves to have 3 points here, because I think the rigidity of the plates and the dimensions also help to have a bit more stability. It doesn't have any stability feature as such, but 3 points here. 2 points for the Deviate Elite, and 1 point, this is tricky because none of them is really stable, but I would say 1 point for the Vaporfly. Laces, this is quite easy. 3 points for the Deviate Elite, 2 points for the Vaporfly, and then these two almost do not deserve any point because of how bad the laces are, but 1 point for the Metaspeed Sky. Fit, same here. The 3 tricky shoes for the fit are these 3. The Metaspeed Sky, I would recommend to go half a size up. It really runs a bit short. The Takumi Sen 8, I would recommend to go half a size down. And the Deviate Elite, you can go to 2 size, but be aware that there are some inconsistencies between US size and EU sizes. So these 3 are a bit tricky. So fit, 3 points for the Vaporfly, and then I would say 2 points for the Deviate Elite and 1 point for the Takumi Sen. So that's for the fit. Lockdown, I would go for 3 points for the Metaspeed. Despite having an awkward fit, the lockdown is actually pretty good here in the heel. And yeah, lockdown, okay, 3 points here. Then 2 points for the Takumi, nice gusset in the midfoot, working well. And then 1 point for Vaporfly. This is a close call, but yeah. Price point, we have $250, $180, 200 euros, 200 euros and 250 or 275, no, 250 for V2 Vaporfly. So 3 points for the Takumi, 2 points for the Deviate, and 1 point for the Metaspeed. Now, which shoe is best for each type of runner? Heel strikers, I would tend to forget about these 2 and maybe look at Vaporfly or Metaspeed. Midfoot, forefoot strikers, any of them, but I think the Takumi would work even better for those type of foot strikes, and same for the Deviates. That's at least my my opinion here. Cadence runners, I would tend to forget about the Metaspeed, and then you could pick any of the other 3. Stride runners, probably Takumi or Metaspeed would work even better, but any of them could work. Heavy runners probably would be better off here in the Metaspeed because of the rigidity of the plate, and they would probably be able to activate that plate and get some responsiveness out of it. Light runners, any of them, these are really light shoes, and light runners, could use them. Light runners probably will not make the best out of the plate here on the Metaspeed. Stability runners, again, none of them really has any stability features. but maybe Metaspeed or Deviate would work a bit better. At least for me, these two have the lowest pronation, metrics pronation velocity numbers. I hope you enjoyed this battle, and so maybe for the end, which shoe would I pick for a 5K, which shoe would I pick for a 10K race? My PRs, PBs were set in the Vaporfly, this very shoe, the green one, and it's still holding my PRs, PBs. Maybe it's time to try and beat them, by the way. But what would I pick? For a 5K, I would probably go either for the Vaporfly or maybe the Metaspeed. For a 10K, I think I would stick with the Vaporfly. As disappointing as this may seem, and you know, this is not a definitive type of assessment, and maybe the Takumi could still come here and change a bit the order, the rankings, but I would probably still race a 10K with the Vaporfly. This is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this mega battle of 5K, 10K best shoes. Enjoy your run today, enjoy your ride, go beyond your limits, and most importantly, take care. I'll see you tomorrow for another video of the Advent Calendar. Bye bye.